So I want to thank you so much for taking time to watch this video. In our previous lesson, we learned about organizations, business organizations. This is management and organization too. And I want to really thank you for subscribing to this channel and also taking time to watch. Now, in today's lesson, we're going to be looking at organizational structures. So I'd want you to, as usual, follow me as I share my screen with you. Yeah, so great. Our topic for today is organizational structure. At the end of the lesson, I expect that you should be able to define organizational structure in your own words correctly. You should also be able to explain the two types of structure that we have. Those are the two main types, and also be able to tell us the relationship between organizational structure and performance. Right. Now, there are business organizations everywhere around the world. Now, the kind of structure that any business will choose actually depends on its size and the operations that it intends to run. So every business has the kind of operations that it undertakes. So your operations will determine the structure that you are going to use to run your business. Great. So the two main types of structure that we have are the tall structure and the flat structure. If you want to go into detail, the tall structure is also called the hierarchical structure. And typically, the tall structure has multiple levels. The flat structure, as we know, is called the horizontal structure. And this is characterized by a few hierarchical levels, and it also has a broader span of control. I believe that you know what span of control means. When we talk about span of control, what it means is that the number of people that a supervisor controls or takes care of, if it's wider or broader, it means that he takes care of a larger number of people. If it's narrow, it means that the supervisor takes care of a few people. Good. So this is a typical illustration of what a tall structure looks like. The tall structure always has quite a very huge number of hierarchies going on. You can see the CEO at the top there, various directors coming in, various general managers coming in. You have chief quality manager, you have chief sales manager. There are lots of ranks. You can see from the top, you come to the first, the second, the third, the fourth, and it goes on and on and on. That is typical of the tall structure. If you decide to use the tall structure, it means that your organization has to have a number of people that you can, that will help you to be able to adopt the tall structure. And we want to look at the advantages of the tall structure. If you look at the way the image was, the way the hierarchies were arranged, you can tell that it is clear that there's a very clear chain of command. Everybody knows who to report to. So everybody has somebody that they are placed under. Now, you want to talk about the specialization and expertise. Because you are in a particular area and under a particular person, it's easy for you to specialize. Again, there's always opportunity for career advancement. Because the hierarchies are many, at every point, you can move to one level and to the other level and to the other level. Promotions can come because the levels are many in the organization. Again, there's better supervision and control because few people are under one manager. The manager can better supervise because there's a narrow span of control, as we mentioned earlier. Managers are able to really supervise well and get the results that they require. Now, when we look at the tall structure, you find that because the hierarchies are too many, there's always delay in communication, which is actually a disadvantage of the tall structure. Also, we have the hierarchical bureaucracy. There's always a lot of levels that you have to go to get something done. So the least thing you are supposed to do in the organization will take a high amount of, you have to go through a lot to be able to get things done. In a tall structure, The next you can look at is lack of employee empowerment. You are always under your boss. You have a few people under one boss. The boss is looking at you. You are not able to do things on your own. There's no innovation. Everything that you are doing, the boss is watching. You can imagine, as an engineer, mechanical engineer, you are in the workshop. Every minute your boss is there because you are few, just 4 of you, just 3 of you. Your boss is always on you, and therefore you are not able to come up with new ways of doing things because there's somebody always watching over and ensuring that you are doing what he wants. So employee empowerment is really low in the tall structure. Again, you have higher overhead costs. You look at the structure that I showed you. You realize that there are a number of people, a lot of people. So you're going to be paying salaries for all these people. So the overhead cost automatically is very high if you compare that to the other one. So there's always slow response to market changes. Once there's a change in the market, because there's a lot of bureaucracy, you have yourself, lingering around. You're unable to, because you have to move through this person to the other person to the other person to get a simple task done or change, something done in the organization. So that becomes a very huge disadvantage or downside of the tall structure. Great. So we want to look at the opposite or the other side of the tall structure, the other angle, which is the flat structure. If you have a flat structure, what it means is that you are actually operating a minimum number of people, operating with a minimum number of people in the hierarchy. So you have very few hierarchical levels in the organization. As you can see from the screen, you see the president coming down to just 2 leaders and then straight to the next level. You don't have many levels as we saw in the flat structure. Good. So in simple terms, if you look at it critically, you realize that because they are very close to their leaders, they don't have to struggle with communication. It's easy to communicate with the leader at every point in time. Or again, it also enhances decision making. Once you are in the organization with your supervisor or your boss, and you're so close in terms of the hierarchy, you don't have to run from one level to the other before you're able to make decisions. Decisions are made very well, and then it's enhanced as well. So there's also increased flexibility and agility at every point in time. Because you are few and the hierarchies are few, you are able to change anything you want. There's always dynamism in the organization. Change is not a problem for the flat structure most of the time. Again, the flat structure promotes employee empowerment and autonomy. As we said in the tall structure, as one of the disadvantages of the tall structure was that it does not promote empowerment. Here in the flat structure, the employee is empowered. So in your workshop, you can do things that you feel are right and current and trending for your work thing to go on very well. And the processes that you feel that, okay, we have to take this out, we have to do that, we have to add this. If you are in a tall structure or a flat structure, it's easy. In a tall structure, it's difficult, but the flat structure says that you can do anything that you feel is good for the organization. Once it's in the interest of the organization, it gives you the employee, the flat structure gives you that opportunity to have that kind of autonomy, which is a very good thing, if you would agree with me. Unfortunately, there are downsides to the flat structure as well. The disadvantages or the downsides that we can talk about are the limited advancement opportunities, because the hierarchies are few. Once you move from the one level, you're going to the next, or the CEO. You can't become the CEO, especially if it's a one-man business, or what if you say, and how many people can even be the CEOs? Just one at a time. So there's limited advancement opportunities. Overburdened managers is also another disadvantage, because a lot of people are under one manager and he has to supervise. There's always pressure on the manager. You can imagine having a lot of engineers to take care of in your workplace. It's going to be a difficult thing, as in the mechanical field. Again, you also want to look at lack of specialized expertise, because you are many, you are doing all sorts of things, everybody can do this and that and that. From one day, one time you are here in the accounts, the next session, the next time you are in the HR, the other time you are in marketing. I mean, you move around and round and round, because you guys are always, I mean, in the organization, because you have a flat structure, you're always having to take turns to do things. Again, there's potential for role ambiguity. Nobody knows who to do what and who to do that, because at this point you are here, at the next point you are here. So there's always this kind of role ambiguity that sets in the flat structure. Communication challenges, in the sense that because you guys are so few, because you are so few, you notice that the burden is high on you. There's a lot of information here to go there, to go there. Before you know, you even forget to tell this other person that, okay, you're supposed to do this or do that, because the information is already, there's what we call information overload. And that affects you when you operate the the flat structure. Okay, there's always communication challenges when you run the flat structure. Great. Now, aside from the two main structures that we have spoken about, you notice that there are about 6 of them here on my screen, as you can see clearly. The first is the line and staff organization. You have the functional organization. You have the line organization. You have divisional organizational design. You have project organization, and then the matrix organization design. These are the other few that we have, apart from the two main, as I indicated earlier. In our next session, we'll be looking into detail at these ones as well. All right. So from what we have said about organizational structure, I want to believe that you understand that it has implications for organizational performance. If you have a good or strong structure, it actually helps the business to perform very well to the optimum level or to the max, okay? Because at every point in time, the structure is what is going to guide you as to what to do and what not to do, who to say what to and who not to report to. So having a very good structure can actually give you that opportunity. Yeah. So a good structure will help decision making. It will also provide an organized and calm working environment. It will give you clarity as staff, okay, because you are having a good structure, you have clarity. Also increase productivity. It also increase client satisfaction. Again, a good structure will make it easy to identify when something has gone wrong and how to fix it as well. It will also encourage employees to take responsibility. We talked about empowerment, we talked about autonomy. All these can be associated with a good structure. So this is going to help your business to make sure time is used effectively. Great. In an instance where you don't have a good structure, what will happen is that there will be disorganization. There will be no coordination. That's what it means. A lot of disorganization will go on in your workplace. Staff will be unclear about what to do, and then you always miss your targets. There will be poor feedback from clients. Again, you have an inappropriate use of time. Every time you use your time very wrongly because there's no good structure. Staff complaining about a lot of things. They will ask questions, they will complain at every point in time because they are unclear what to do or who to report to, who to ask for help from. Employees ensure they are very unsure who to report concerns to, and then again, absence of management, lack of supervision. So there's always chaos in your organization for lack of a good structure. It is therefore imperative or necessary for every organization to have a very good structure based on your performances or your operations and your size. These are the references for the lesson. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, you would want to post them in the chat console, and I'll be willing to answer your questions. Thank you and see you another time. Bye.